No, be gentle. Be gentle. Do macaw parrots make good pets? Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. I have 17 species of parrots, so I know one or two things about parrots. I've also written a book, which I got a forward from my mentor, who is an incredible aviculturist. And today I'm going to talk to you about my Mac girls, because someone had wanted to learn about macaws. And I'm going to manage to somehow or another hold my paper and, no, don't eat the ring, and do this video. So here goes. I'm going to start by giving you 19 categories to talk about the macaws, to help you decide if this is the right parrot for you, to help you decide what the pros and cons are, and then I'm going to tell you what I like best about the macaws. And I'm also going to show you a little bit, if I can. Come here. She flew off, but not the way I wanted. Okay, come here, sweetie. So, size. This is category 1. Size. This is a large bird. Now, I've got my categories grouped into 3 categories. Owner lifestyle, the lifestyle that you'll be taking on if you have this parrot. Owner experience, because I think that the amount of experience you have affects some things, like how much money you want to spend and whether or not you want to take on a more challenging parrot. And then number 3, owner circumstances, because for example, if you're in an apartment, you're not going to be able to have a macaw. They're going to be too loud. So number 1, size. This is one of the largest parrots in the citizen species. The largest parrot is also a macaw. It's a hyacinth macaw. So when we talk about macaws, generally speaking, we are talking about the largest parrots, but there are many macaws, like my emerald, if you watch my videos, and emerald is a Hans macaw. Now right here, you're really looking at 2 species of macaw. The size for the harlequin macaw, right here in my right hand, we're going to send her flying. Fly! She's pretty large because she is a mixed species. She is half green wing and blue and gold. So that makes her a hybrid species, and hybrid species are a different species. This one is Kailani. She is a Catalina macaw, and she is a mix between blue and gold and what are you a mix between? All right, we'll have to write that in afterwards. So the harlequin macaws are a little bigger, because the largest is going to be that hyacinth macaw. The second largest is going to be the green wing. So she has green wing in her. Harlequin macaws make good pet parrots, or good companions. Next, diet. What I'm going to call a basic parrot diet that you need to be ready to provide consists of fresh vegetables every day, plus a pelleted diet. That's the basic diet. Now, in addition to that, some parrots need nuts and some need seeds. These girls are nut eaters, which means they need nut fat in their diet. In nature, they would eat a lot of different things on palm trees, for example. Oh my. Okay, let's send you flying. Woo! Do you want to go flying too? Or you want to stay? You can be calm. Stay there, okay? And so, for example, sometimes when they well, my macaws, I think these palm trees are too small for my macaws, so they don't go in them. But when we can get palm nuts, they love them, and that would provide the nut fat. That means that they need either nuts like walnuts, which help them work their beak, grind it down a little bit, gives them something to do. It's food enrichment. Or they need supplemental nut fat like coconut oil on their fresh vegetables. That means that as the owner, which I like to call a keeper, the parrot keeper, one of the things that you have to be willing to do is either put that coconut oil on their nuts, or coconut oil on their, not on their nuts, on their fresh vegetables every day, or you have to be willing to buy nuts, and the nuts get expensive. We have, come here, They're not allowed to eat the camera. It's not a nut. We have these 2 girls plus another 8 nut eaters, and so we spend about $200 a month right now on nuts, just nuts. But of course, that's not one parrot, and so you could figure that if you had 1 parrot, it might be 1/8 of that, or so, something like that. And of course, it depends on what kind of nuts you get. It depends on where you get them from. There's a lot of things that are going to be variables within all of these things. And so this is just to give you a good basic idea. Number 3, squawking. On a scale from 1 to 10, that was a squawk. These guys are going to be like, on the squawking, like a 9. Why? Because I'm fortunate. A friend of mine who's a breeder of macaws, he's like, your macaws are pretty quiet. So I'm fortunate because my macaws aren't very loud, but I can hear them when I go for a walk around the neighborhood and I'm across the lake. Their voices carry. When they squawk, it is loud, and that's one reason they would never work in an apartment. They're really too small and they're too loud. So they are squawkers. Talking ability. Not the same. Hey, don't eat the camera. Don't eat it. No, no tripod eating. Not today. Talking ability is different. It's literally whether or not they will use language. For me, it would be English or Spanish, but it's always English. And whether or not they talk. Now, macaws, they do have the ability to do some talking. I'm giving them an L, which means... What did I... No, don't eat the categories. How rude. Fly, baby, fly. Talking ability, language. Means that they do have some ability to do language. Sometimes she'll say, hi, Kailani. Can you say hi, Kailani? Usually not when it's on film. Hi, Kailani. My macaws are, I think, typical macaws. They can pick up 10 to 15 phrases, although we're only at around 3 or 4. They are only a couple of years old. They will say sometimes bye-bye, especially, she's not as much of a talker, even though she's a year older. My Harlequin monkey, who is hanging right here, sometimes she'll say bye-bye, but it's usually when either she wants us to leave or we're leaving the house and she knows that we're leaving. Right? You want to say hi, Cammy? Hi. Hi, monkey. Burp, 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 burp. I know, and then this one gets jealous. Fly! That's got to be one of my favorite things about parrots, is you could throw them around. You know what, sweetie? Your nails, unfortunately, Kailani here grips very strongly. Like, she doesn't just hold on to you. She, like, holds on for dear life, and it hurts. I don't like them on my shoulders because if something spooked them or they got mad, it would only take one bite to hurt me, hurt my face, hurt my ears. So I do try to keep them off my shoulders, but nobody's gotten the message to her. Cuddle affectionate factor, I give them an 8 because this is a parrot that will let me go like this. Oh, come here, I want to show them. And she'll let me hug her, and I just think, oh, notice I keep her face, her beak pointing away from my face. There's nothing better, than a big macaw hug, right? Yes. And the other one, Cammy, our Harlequin, she will let me pet her and pet her and pet her. Do you want to show people how pettable, how affectionate Cammy is?
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Come on into this film. And, yep.
Hi, Cammy Cam. She might not come.
I know, she might not come. This is my husband, and he just brought me our orders so that I can fulfill the orders for my Tinks CBD oil.
Hi, Cammy Cam. There you
There
are.
we go.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's a good girl.
Oh, she's biting the palm. They double as palm trimmers. Okay. There's a big palm on you. Okay, you want to come? While he's showing you the the cuddle factor, I'm going to tell you that on a scale from 1 to 10, these are huge poopers. This is a 10. Their poops are not as often and frequent as a small bird, but see that cuddle factor? She is now in Parrot Bliss. But when they poop, it's wet and it's a little puddle. It's muddy. Now you're out of the picture. Take a step forward. There you go. Oh, thank you. Cuddly. These two girls are just so cuddly and big, big poops. Our next category, owner experience. If you don't have a lot of experience with parrots, I don't think you want to jump into a parrot that is a one-person parrot necessarily. When it comes to parrots, there are what I will call family parrots and one-person parrots. A family parrot is a parrot that allows anyone to pick them up in the family. Parrots, generally speaking, they all need to know the person. If it's a stranger, they're like stranger danger, and they're not going to want to be friendly with that person. If it's someone in the family, they tend to get along with the whole family. I do think that every parrot has the tendency to become, or the ability to become, a one-person bird, generally speaking, with most species. But also generally speaking with most species, even if they are a good family parrot, because everybody holds them and handles them and spends time with them, one of the things that does happen is they pick favorites. Their favorite is the person that spends the most time with them. For example, Tammy, her favorite is my husband because he spends time with her, and so when she wants cuddles, he's the number one first choice. Challenges. This is a challenging parrot because of their size. And I do think that sadly they get rehomed a lot because of their size. Maybe, you have to downsize, you get divorced or something and you have to downsize, and you have a smaller home and it's really hard. Like they need a lot of space. Their size is also challenging because this is a parrot that has been called a parrot that intimidates people because of their size. This beak is rather intimidating. It can bite your finger off. It can do some damage. And chances are they're only going to do that when they're really mad or something's really wrong. You could see that when they are pets, because we spend a lot of time with them, it's a very different scenario. But you do have to know how to handle them. You do have to be willing to take them by the beak and say, I'm in charge. You have to be at the top of the pecking order. Otherwise, this challenge is insurmountable because they can fly, and even if you have them clipped, they have that beak and they will boss you around. And so you have to meet that challenge, beak on, right? Yeah, you gotta be sweet. You gotta be sweet. Pet friendliness. In other words, do they make good pets? If you're willing to spend the time, if you're willing to hold them by the beak, then yes, they make great pets. Don't forget, time is a magical ingredient in really any parrot, but certainly these parrots. You really have to be able to spend some good time with them. Cost. I put them in the exotic collector category, meaning that you are spending $3,000 to $5,000 or more on a large macaw like these girls. Now, I put that under owner experience because I don't think that if you're new to parrots and you don't really have any experience, I don't think you're going to want to shell out that kind of money for a parrot. And I mean, there's exceptions, but in other words, generally this is a parrot that you're already familiar with parrots and you're more comfortable putting that kind of money into your pet or companion. Now next, how do they get along with other parrots? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know, because our macaws, they're big parrots and we're just not comfortable putting them with the other birds. These girls, they get to live out back here during the day because we are so blessed and fortunate. We work from home, and so we're with them all day. We're watching them all day. We have cameras on them. And so they get to be out here where they can fly and they can see things, and they've got some enrichment, some natural enrichment. This is like a great setup for them. And then we don't have to babysit and watch and make sure that they get along with the other parrots. again, this is a parrot whose challenge is that they can be very intimidating, and they can do that with other birds too. So we have never had a problem where one of our macaws has hurt one of our other parrots, because we just don't allow that setup, so they're not with them. Therefore, I couldn't really say whether or not they would get along with other parrots. I would expect that they could, but we prefer that, for example, the two species of macaws just have each other. So they get along with another macaw species, and macaw parrots do tend to get along with other macaw parrots. Our third category, owner circumstances. So for this category, we're talking about things like how much it costs to maintain your parrot, how much the cage costs, and things like that. If you want to go, you can. I'll take her until I send her flying. Hey, what you doing? Maintenance cost. So for maintenance costs, the way I've grouped this category, we've got some basic costs, which are going to be like taking them to the vet once a year, which you're going to be looking at $200 to $300. Don't eat my clipboard. Don't eat my clipboard, please. You're hot. You're thirsty. You have water over there. You want to go drink your water? No, you want to walk on me. Don't walk on me. So your cost is going to be a bag of pellets. Probably, it depends on what size bag you're getting. For a macaw, if you're getting a large bag, I get really big bags, so I can't really say, but you know, maybe a medium to large size bag is going to work for you. Okay, let's send you flying. Flying, thank you. Let's get you on my arm. Thanks. Oh, okay, you're flying. Flying macaws. I think a large bag is going to get you through like maybe half a month to a month plus those nuts. So again, this is one of those things where I kind of want you to get an idea, and I'm sorry I can't give you a better idea because I don't have one macaw that I buy pellets for. But the other thing is the price is really going to vary depending on what size bag of pellets you get and what brand you get, and that's going to really affect things. We like Zupreme. I am not over the moon for Zupreme, but for the cost, I think they are some of the best quality. Like, it's affordable, I can work with it. So it works for me, and it certainly works for my parrots. I would guess that if you're buying a bag of my second macaw, Cammy, she's on the umbrella and she's like peeking her head. So the umbrella just has this macaw head, and it's a crack up. The large bags, I think you're looking at, I think $20 to $40, and so you might need one or two of those a month. And then the nuts are going to be, like I said, you know, you might be able to get away with $10 a month on average. Now, here's a couple of things I will tell you. If you buy a bigger bag of pellets, it's obviously going to be more cost effective for you. My dad, who was a veterinarian, said, look, I want you to buy the freshest bags. I want you to buy smaller bags and more often. And I was like, I'm not going to the store all the time. Forget it. Plus, I like to make sure that I never, ever, ever, ever run out of pellets or seeds for my seed eaters or nuts. So what I do is I have my bags, and then I try to keep them like in Tupperware kind of thing, and or the refrigerator so that they stay fresher. Don't eat the tripod. No, that's not enrichment of any kind for a macaw. No, no, no. Come on, step up. Good girl. Ah, good girl. Good step up. Now, fly. Okay, so if I were you, for those basic costs, you know, I would get several kinds of nuts, like walnuts. If you're getting a macaw, walnuts in the shell, which you can get, for example, on Amazon.com. I've heard one of my grocery stores has them too. What other almonds in the shell? Sometimes we do pistachios, and we do get a macaw mix. I don't like that it has seeds, but we do get a good quality macaw mix, and then it's gonna have hazelnuts, Brazil nuts. Nope, don't bite them. No. See, so she's not biting. She's not applying any pressure. She's just kind of saying, I'm here, with her beak. So I'm grabbing her by the beak because I'm saying, no, I'm going to control your beak, because I'm trying to always maintain a happy, healthy, comfortable environment where we're all safe, secure, where we're all not eating a tripod, and we have a good pecking order. Fly! All right, cage cost. Okay, of course these macaws are going to have some of the most expensive cages because we have a 6-foot cage, and I don't know, I mean, I can stand in it, and it's like at least 4 feet wide, and it is like a $500–600 cage if it's not stainless steel. So you're talking about a big cage, and let me tell you that I would say that really, if you have a macaw, you really need an outdoor aviary as well, so that they have more room. A macaw can't really live in a cage that big. They don't really even get a chance to like stretch their wings. Parrots, one thing they do is they stretch their wings and flap them for some exercise when they can't like fly. So they really need the space. When you're looking at a parrot, you want a cage that is their wingspan times 2 going deep, times 3 wide, and times 2 in height. However, macaws have long tails, so they really need some good height too. And so even that big 6-foot cage is like a good sleeper cage, but I feel like out here, my macaws have room. When a macaw can be active and do some flying, they're gonna stay healthier, because just like you and I, we can't be at our computer like all day. We need to get up, we need to walk around, you need to give your body some exercise. And I would say that being in a cage all day while you're at work kind of thing is the same. They're almost like at a desk, not getting that exercise. So they really would need an outdoor aviary as well, and those are gonna start at like $1,000, depending on, you know, the material, the cage, the size, those things. Apartment friendly? No, not at all. Space requirements, I kind of just talked about that. I really think they would need an outdoor aviary. They really need the space to flap their wings. I think that if you have a house, you're probably, I mean, you should be good for a macaw, but you want to make sure that they have room to really fly in your house. We have a fair size house. I think it's, you know, it's a fair size, and yet indoors they don't really have room to fly. It's like they fly and they have to turn, they fly and they have to turn. The same is really true out here, but there's more room and it's taller, and so like out here it's a more natural environment and it's a little easier for them to fly. So I like that, and I do feel like if you have a macaw, those things are key. It lets them get some energy out too, which means you're going to have a happier and more well-adjusted macaw. Last thing, playfulness and toy requirements. Man, these girls, if they don't have something to chew, they can get stressed. In other words, when you have a macaw, wood is a de-stressor. It is a requirement so that they can work that stress out. I think it's just built into them. I feel like in nature, they just do so much chewing that it has become a part of just who they are. And now if you remove that and they have nothing to chew, they're going to be like a little nervous and stressed out. So we have natural ropes for them to chew on. We try to bring them enrichment all the time. I will bring them branches that they can just strip the bark off of. They can sit on, they can play with, they can, you know, I don't always like for me, the difference between a branch and a perch is gonna be more stable unless it's a swing, or the rope, which they can also swing on. Whereas a branch, I'll put it in the play top, because they have for them a small cage that Kailani likes to go into sometimes. Sometimes she'll go inside on the perch to rest, but it is not a cage for them. It's their perch for outside, one of their 2 perches out here. And up on top, it has a play stand, like the play place, and so it has a ring for a dish for their food bowl, so you can slide the food bowl in. And instead, I put branches in. So the branch is now secure, but it moves, it wobbles, and they like that. They definitely need things to beak and bite and destroy, otherwise they'll find things in your home. And that's when a home gets really challenging for a macaw, because it's kind of a small space for them, and they start to eat whatever they can find. They start to chew it and kill it. So what is my favorite now, to wrap up for you, what is my favorite thing about my macaws? They're majestic, incredible birds. When you see a macaw fly, it's the grace, and come here, you can come, and the way their wings move and their colors. Parrots, whatever created parrots really made them so colorful. But macaws, they're not the only species, but they're one of the few species that just have these incredible colors. And then on top of that, being such big birds, it's like it's easier to connect with them. It can be harder because they do have that challenge of being intimidating, but they almost have more personality in that sense, and that's not exactly true, but in a sense where you can relate more and really bond with them in a way that's different than it would be with other birds. Thank you for joining me in this blissful and long video. I wanted to hit all my categories for you. Video on macaws. If you have any questions about parrots, please sure to post below. If you want a bottle of Tink's CBD oil, parrot relief to help your parrot if it is stressed out, please visit parrotbliss.com, and I will catch you in the next feathered video.